Okay, Viper's videos, back out in the barn. It is just about mid-July and we have a nice 88, 89 degrees, which isn't terribly bad, but unfortunately it's another one of those high dew points, so it's a sultry, sweaty one. And I want to apologize if you hear any fan noise, but it's actually one of the more calmer days. It's not as windy, so I had to have a fan on in order not to sweat to near death. So hopefully that's not too annoying. Okay, today I got kind of an interesting BB pistol. I got it from Pyramid Air. I had some bullseye bucks, and they had a special deal on shipping, free shipping if you bought a bunch of other stuff. So I think all said and done, this particular STI Duty 1 that you see, I think I got it pretty much out the door for about 60 bucks. I think it retails for 64, and then usually got to pay like $7 or $8 shipping, but I got it pretty much for 60 bucks after all my discount and bullseye bucks. This STI Duty 1 is a non-blowback version. They also make a blowback version, but the blowback version I think is like 99 bucks, and this was I think 64. So I only bought this because I kind of wanted something that I didn't want to work on. You'll see in the future I got a Colt Commander that I put a front muzzle brake on. I got the Umarex Beretta 92. I had put a muzzle brake on that as well, so it looks like something that's been in a few movies. But this is just a polymer framed steel slide. There's nothing I really needed to add to it. Well, okay, before I say didn't need to add to it, I think I also have just a little attachment, a little moderator, lead dust collector. Even though I'm using steel BBs, we'll call it a steel BB dust collector. Anyway, let's see. Let's get into this. There is a small Allen wrench for the sights, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Magazine capacity is 20 BBs. The velocity is rated for 374 to 407. I'm not going to actually chronograph it again today because it's so flippin' hot. If it shoots well, it shoots well. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's an inexpensive BB pistol, so I guess I don't want to get too hung up on what the velocities are if I'm not going to hunt or shoot very specific BB targets that are incredibly important to have that kind of information. Okay, so this is obviously a copy of a 1911. So the slide actually does go back, and I think this is what the blowback does. If you have the blowback version, it actually blows back, but this still goes back. It just doesn't blow back when you shoot it. It has a slide catch, slide stop. It actually does work like that, so it catches back. I don't know why you'd want to do it, but it is kind of cool for effect. And you have to, you can actually let it go. I just don't want to let it slam. This happens to be a single or double action. The magazine release works like a real 1911. The thumb safety actually works. It locks up the trigger, does not lock up the hammer. Nope, the hammer, but the trigger is locked up. So the thumb safety works. The grip safety does not work. When you see this crack here, this is one piece that comes off, and it's actually where you put the CO2 cartridge. There's a little button under here, a little button right there, and you push it and kind of just pull outward, and that's where the CO2 goes in, which is kind of neat. And then there's kind of this pull-out thumb twisting lever screw that actually puts it in, so you don't need to really go too hard. And the thing I kind of liked about this compared to a lot of the other semi-auto versions is it has this little stick magazine, where a lot of the other ones like the SA-10, the Beretta, a lot of the Colts, there's other ones too, and the SIGs, they typically have the magazines that hold the CO2. So you pretty much, if you want to do a magazine exchange, you have to have a bunch of CO2s and a bunch of magazines. Otherwise you got to take the magazine out, reload it, so on and so forth. Not the end of the world, but it's just, this is kind of neat. Now I've got 2 separate magazines that I can actually fire 20 rounds a piece with just the CO2 in the gun, so you can quickly do this, load it up, blah blah blah. But that's just something to show you how that works. It looks like that would be normally the mainspring housing. This would be your grip safety, and this would be the bottom of your grip, which would be actually opened up so that you could put the magazine if it was a real firearm. So they did a nice job replicating the look of it, but of course it's no function at all how it would work. So, okay, so the grip safety doesn't work, thumb safety works, legitimate safety, hammer. Oh yeah, this is actually a, I can pull the trigger because I got the magazine out, but it's a double action, or it's a single action if you cock it back. And you can actually thumb cock it to it. Cock it back, or oh, with the magazine out, you notice the mag catch doesn't. Oh, that's cool. Okay, I hadn't actually noticed that. I haven't played with this. This is the first time. So, okay, so when you got the magazine in, at this point it's empty. So it catches, okay? Manually take it out. You're shooting away. Yeah, and, okay, so that's kind of realistic. So that's kind of interesting. There is a Picatinny rail if you wanted to put a flashlight or a laser on the bottom. The sights appear to be adjustable for windage only. I imagine you could drift this over, but you wouldn't really need to, because I believe that Allen wrench I showed you in the box would be for adjusting this, you know, for windage, but there's no elevation that I can tell. We've got some very nice checkering. I don't know, 20, 30, 40 lines per inch. I have no idea. That would be, I guess that would be some kind of knurling checkering, but this is a legitimate, you know, molded in checkering. When it does lock back, you see you have a full-length guide rod. It appears to have a belled bowl type barrel. Basically you have 20 rounds that go into these stick magazines. I think you can see it in there. And I just loaded that magazine in the house because I didn't want to spend all this time out here, but I'll show you how I was doing it, at least the way I understand it. There's a little spring-loaded lever here that you can slide down its channel and move off, in this case to the right. But I found if you're not careful and you bump that, you're gonna just, some of the BBs fly out. It makes a real nasty slap sound. So you just have to be kind of careful. And it looks like you just load the BBs in through that groove or whichever side. Personally, I just kind of count out however many I have in my hand at a given time. I was putting my finger back here and then just kind of loading them, tipping it, loading them. And as you can see, I can get kind of klutzy tipping it. Yep, there I dropped, and I did that in the house as well. So that's just kind of how I was doing it, just counting as we go. Every now and then one gets stuck. There you go. There you go. There you go. So I mean, it's not the easiest way, but it's just the way I found to do it. And I'm going to edit. Oh, hey, these magazines stand up. That's kind of nice. So I don't exactly know how many I'm going to put in. I don't think I'll have all 20. But that's okay. I'm just going to do a little testing a little bit for some accuracy out of the box. Yeah, that worked pretty easy. That worked a little better than I thought. Okay, so I think there's 18 in there, something like that. So then what you would do is you would take the loaded magazine, and you could do the CO2 before or after, I guess. It's probably a proper way, so don't quote me on what I'm saying. Just, I already did the CO2, so it's kind of too late. And at this point now, you could actually cock the hammer back if you chose to, or you can just go ahead and squeeze double action. This here is just something, there is a little insert. As you can see, the inside of the barrel is threaded, and it comes with a male threaded insert, fake tip of a barrel that goes into these female threads on the inside of the barrel. And I understand that's where you can purchase adapters, you can actually purchase fake moderators, suppressors from other airgun, ASG airgun products. I think the CZ series line, maybe there's even some Glocks. I guess I don't know, but that's what I quickly read. So I just adapted something onto here from looks like that might have been a Harbor Freight cheapy flashlight. So don't ask me how, don't ask me where. You got to be kind of clever and come up with your own. This is just fake, it's hollow, there's really nothing going on. So I'm not trying to encourage anyone to make illegal suppressors or not or anything like that. So this is just a hollowed out tube with the adapter that came in there, and it just kind of threads in there. So it's just kind of a clever way to use the, so you have to be clever and make your own stuff, or go ahead and buy it. I think they're available at Pyramid Air. They're a little skinnier, a little longer, hollowed out fake suppressors, aluminum like this, or they actually have adapters too, also at Pyramid Air. So you don't have to ask me too much more about it, because I'm just going to refer to the video. But that's how that works. So I am going to put this in a safe position and go set up the camera, as always, down yonder, 30 feet, and I'm going to see just how this gun shoots out of the box with stock, I guess I shouldn't say fixed sights, but limited adjustability. So again, I don't care about the accuracy as far as bullseye, I just want to see if it groups decently. Anyway, that blade, one thing that I did want to mention here, I do not know if you can get a good look at that. I'll put a picture in here. But it's a real skinny blade in a fairly wide notch, so which means that you can kind of, as you saw in the picture, you can kind of move it around. If it's off left to right just a little, well, it's probably because of that space, but you can actually adjust your shooting based on that, where a lot of them are like the same size. So I mean, it just like blocks out all the light and just makes it a little different. This is actually a little easier for me to shoot for open sights. All right, I blabbed enough. Let's go down and see how that target will turn out. Okay, so I am back there at the 30 feet. I don't expect a lot. I've seen a lot of videos where people are shooting at this distance and they're getting pretty much averaging about 2-inch groups. So let's just give this a try. I'm using the Umarex silver colored zinc, normal zinc plated BBs, and those are the larger .173, so they're like the largest BBs I have. They tend to do good in a lot of different BB guns I have, so let's try this. Okay, I don't know how many shots that was exactly. I'm thinking maybe 18. I didn't really count, and remember I told you that particular magazine I don't think I fully loaded all of them. Also, for once, I didn't actually wait 10 seconds between shots. I'm going to say I waited closer to anywhere from maybe 2 seconds to 5. So even though you're seeing that I edited that and just made the shots all hit, a lot of times when I'm really curious about, super accuracy, I'll wait 10 seconds. It's so hot that I just guess I figured I didn't have to worry about it. But in any case, yeah, I did not wait 10 seconds. So that's actually pretty good. So check here. Okay, seriously? That's better than I thought it was. That looks like roughly, that's about an inch and 5/8, maybe just a hair more. I'd have to get a caliper in, but it's under 2 inches if anything. So I'm actually pretty happy. I didn't probably try quite as hard as I have with other pistols, but I mean, I still tried to be careful with my shots. But you know, that when you've got your sight picture, you're still kind of going like this and moving all around. So it still looks to shoot a little bit low and to the right, but so I would say, so that would mean if I really wanted to adjust those sights, I would have to move it to the left so much, and then just visually raise my my sight picture, raise the front sight a little higher, or maybe like aim for right here, Kentucky windage or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, let's go back to the table and talk about it. Okay, so as you can see, that is not a real bad group. I think I measured it roughly at inch and 5/8. It's probably just a hair bigger, but just that's the easiest line I could read on the tape measure. It's not real bright in here, but it's still not a real bad group for this little BB pistol. And so now I think what I'm going to do, I still have another magazine. Let me show you how you change magazines. So you quickly, look, it even drops free. That's kind of cool. So there's the magazine release. Oops. Stay there, you target. So you push the button, drops out. I don't want to let that hit the ground like a competition 1911. And you got your other, push it up. There's no need to slam at home. It just kind of, there's like 2 little catches. Listen careful. First catch there, then it locks and it's in. And if that drops free, yeah, it drops free too, so kind of cool. Then we can put our thumb safety on, which is kind of nice. That's much better than all these other gizmos that seem unnatural. That's a real safety on a 1911, so that works out pretty good. All right, so I think what I'm going to do now is I am going to put up another target that's going to be about chest height in the target setup I got next to it, and I'm actually going to shoot 2-hand standing, and I'm going to try, maybe I'll go 20 feet. I'll go 20 feet, and I'll give that a try. I know 21 is the magic number, but this is a BB pistol, not a pellet pistol or real firearm. So I'll try that and see how I do, and I'll probably do some, I'm not going to edit out the shots. So if you hear me pausing, then I paused. If you see me shooting kind of stupidly and wasting CO2 and trying to do double taps, well, I'm going to give it my best shot. For testing center of mass, this is actually a good practice. If a person were to do competition shooting or look at a 1911 for a defensive firearm, this would really be good practice for trigger time. It's got a legitimate, it's the right size, it's a replica size. The weight isn't quite there, but if you had a polymer one, I'm not sure, maybe so. Like those STIs, this is probably, I believe this literally is visually and dimensionally very similar to STI's real duty one. But again, still you're going to get that same feel. You get real trigger time. So I don't know. I think it's good practice. Anyway, I'm blabbing. Let's get down to the target. Okay, here I am back down at the target. And the other target I was shooting at is that lower box on it. And here now I'm about another, I guess probably about a foot higher, which is just about, I guess it'd be breadbasket or higher abdominal height for me. But that's still better than shooting too low. So I am going to lock in the camera now and try to shoot at this. I'm going to count back 20 and I am going to just shoot one ready. There'll be some hesitations. They won't be very long. So I expect this group kind of to be all over the place. But hey, it'll just be good fun. Center of mass is all I care about. So that's it. Further away than I thought it was. All right. Safety off. I'm ready to shoot. Holy criminies. Let me get the tape measure again. Alright. Did I get any wild ones? I think that might have been there from a previous target, but oh yeah, sure, there we go. That's about a 2.5 inch group. Yeah, it's still pretty good though. Holy crap. And that was, I didn't edit out any time. Okay, so a 2.5 inch group at 20 feet. All right, well that's really interesting. I didn't think I was that good a shot, but maybe I just got lucky today because I'm hot and tired. But hey, let's go back. Okay, so I have a mega confession to make. You guys will probably think it's pretty minor, but I just think I better come clean. Remember, I seemed super surprised with this group at 20 feet offhand. Actually, it was all two-handed shooting. And I said, wow, I didn't expect that I would. I didn't think I should have shot that well. Well, what the 20 feet was, I actually marked it off because I wanted to know for myself what the reality was. And what was happening is that when I marked that off, that 20 feet was where my feet were. So when I'm extended, that's about another 2.5 feet. So that really makes it, what would that be, 17.5 feet. So it was more than 15 feet, but that's why. So that's almost half the distance of when I was bench resting here with this target. So that's a lot more honest of what the gun is capable of when you're bench resting it. And this is good, but again, I'm like 17.5 feet from the tip of the muzzle to the target. Now, some of you are going to say, wow, that's still really good shooting. Other people are going to say, well, you probably could have done better. I just wanted to be honest and say it wasn't 20 feet. It was 17.5 feet to the front of the gun. When I'm shooting back here, that is 30 feet from the end of this gun in this dealy bopper here. Or when I'm just on my arms, that's definitely 30 feet. So I just wanted to let you know that, so you don't say, wow, what a liar he is. He couldn't have done that good, so on and so forth. But that's a reality. 30 feet bench rested, 17.5, two-handed, offhand, standing shooting. But I still think, again, for a BB pistol, that's pretty good. And that's the first time I shot it. This is actually the first time, but that's the reality of it. 2 different magazines, but that has nothing to do with it. And but yeah, I'd say for $64 if you wanted to get one, I think it's a nice pistol. I haven't had any problems with it. 2 magazines. I lubed the CO2 before I put it in. I'm no better than anyone else. I'm nothing special. So this is just how it worked for me. I don't believe it would work any different for you unless you did something different. So let us see what the gun sounds like with the fake suppressor, hollow tube. Okay, so here it is with having more trouble with my, oh, that's the fan behind me. There you go. So here's the sound. It's still kind of subdued. It's not a real loud. I've got louder ones. This is not very loud. And then if I screw this on, oh, okay, that's a bit quieter. So maybe you guys would like to see how it shoots with that on. Should we try that? I should really quit because I'm sweating like a pig, but let's give that a try and see what happens. Okay, I am ready to give this a try. I saved you the trouble of watching me load. I believe I put 15 rounds in here. I didn't want to go the full 20, but I put 15 in there. I have attached my faux suppressor, my hollow tube, whatever you want to call it. I am going to go back to that same 20 feet because it's marked off, which is really 17.5. Yeah, still 70. It doesn't matter that that's longer. It's still coming out of here. Now, I have no idea how well this is going to behave. So I hope that it doesn't cause me any problems. Hopefully the turbulence don't interfere with the movement of the BB in there, but we'll see. It should have the same printing effect. And I'm going to do it what I did before. I'm just going to say ready to go and just shoot my 15 and probably dry fire a few at the end because I ain't going to count, and we'll see what happens. All right, here you go. There's your look at it. Looks kind of good for what it is. All right, and let's see, we're rolling good. Okay, back to my spot. Okay, here we go. It's kind of a little bit quieter, but it wasn't intended to be. Oh yeah, that group opened up quite a bit. But you know, I'll be honest, I was getting kind of sloppy. I wasn't trying as hard. Oh, that'd be a 3-inch group right there, because that's just a little bit off there, it's a little bit in. So, in any case, kind of sloppy. I'll admit I didn't really try as hard. But hey, it was more about hearing versus... Oh, sorry, taking it off. It is a little bit louder, a little bit quieter with it on. So, put my safety on, and we'll go back. Okay, so you just saw that I did fairly well with the fake suppressor that I have for this ASG STI Duty 1, and it kind of improved the sound a little bit. But the reality is it didn't mess too much with the trajectory, so the grouping was still pretty good. I admittedly was a little sloppier. I'm super hot. But anyway, I would say that it feels good. It's been reliable. I would call that accurate for a BB pistol, especially at the distances I was shooting. It's a good value at, you know, basically, I'll just say under 65 or under 70 bucks. It's got the metal slide, polymer frame. It feels nice. This doesn't feel like cheap polymer. It doesn't feel like, it's not very flexible. It's pretty hard. So I like the fact that the magazines are separate from the CO2. So if you buy a few of them, you don't have to have, you know, load up 30 CO2s with it. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good bargain, and I think you could do a lot worse for the money. So it was a bit of a surprise to me. I didn't quite know what to expect, but it handles well. It feels well. It feels good. Feels like a 1911. Points like a 1911. Frankly, I whine a lot about open sights. If you watch my videos, I'm always griping. I can't shoot open sights. I'm old. I got bifocals. I hate them. Blah blah blah. These, and I think I showed you that picture earlier, having that thinner blade, I feel like I have more control of, you know, reasonably speaking. It's just a lot easier for me to see with daylight on each side of that blade. So in a way, I guess I kind of like this a little better. Of all the open sight pistols I have, I like this one the best. So I didn't expect there was anything I would like the best out of this one, but actually I did find that I shoot this one a little bit better than I do with bigger sight blades. So I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah, if you are on the fence or you're thinking about it, you'd have to decide if you want the blowback or the non-blowback. I wanted the non-blowback because I have enough guns that already blow back now and give me, actually almost every one I have is a blowback, but this one. So oh, and I have an old SIG SP 2022, that's not. But in any case, I'm okay with that. But if you want the blowback, you know, that's great too. Yeah, other than that, I am not regretting buying this. So I think it turned out a little bit better than I expected it to, so that's a good thing. No problems, no issues. So I say ship it, you know, wrap it up. I'll take it. So as always, take care, stay cool, stay hot, stay whatever you got to do. See ya.